Hello and welcome to this very special episode of the Light Path podcast. Special because today happens to be my birthday, the beginning for me for another spin around the sun. And so for this episode, I wanted to share a gift with you because, wow, I'm so grateful for this past year. We're coming to almost a year of this podcast, really quickly sneaking up on 100 episodes. And I have just adored connecting with you in this way and the feedback that I get back from you guys. So I wanted to gift you something. And when I was thinking, what is it that I could put out there? I thought, well, what is the thing that is nearest and dearest to my heart? And what is the thing that is the most important to me? And that is the work that I do with La Luna. It is my core spiritual practice. You have heard me go on and on about this on the podcast, on social media channels, and I will not stop because it is truly been the most transformative way I have been able to continue to connect with myself and to grow emotionally, mentally, but also beyond my wildest potential. It's almost like working with the moon allows me to sit at the edge of my potential constantly because there is so much healing that the moon offers us at a full moon in the releasing, but there's so much potential it offers us at a new moon. And it just so happens that the new moon in Cancer lands on my birthday. So for this very special episode of the podcast, what you are going to get is the in-depth guidance for the new moon in Cancer. Now for the basic moon membership, you will receive this in-depth guidance for every full and new moon, plus a meditation that follows. But I'm not going to include the meditation in this podcast. It will be too long. And this is really just to gift you, I guess, the wisdom of this beautiful new moon that we're under. The premium moon members get this in-depth guidance and meditation. They also get a very detailed workbook which has all the resources to set them up for success in their new moon ritual or their full moon ritual. And then also they get a little video tutorial for every full and new moon where I'm discussing a certain concept or sharing a spiritual practice or tool that they can have. So they're the two levels of membership in terms of the moon membership. But for now, again, this is just my thank you to you to help you, I guess, harness the energy that happens to be falling on and around my birthday this year with this new moon in Cancer, because it is a phenomenal new moon to really kick off, obviously, my next spin around the sun, but as you will hear, actually for all of us, the next 18 months. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Moon members, welcome to your new moon in Cancer in-depth guidance and meditation. Oh, what a delicious new moon we are in for, which actually happens to fall on my birthday. So it is a massive energy of new beginnings anyway, but for me personally, it has very special significance. Now, this new moon in Cancer is obviously the beginning of a new lunar cycle, so we are setting intentions, but because of something else happening exactly at this time that the moon is new, it is actually also the start of an 18-month new energetic and cosmic cycle. And this cycle is all going to be about how we can embrace our true selves through a deepening level of self-love. So a new moon in Cancer is always going to be quite an emotional one. It always is whenever it pops up during the year. This is because really Cancer is the ruling sign, the moon is the ruling planet of Cancer. So the moon is so completely at home when it's in the sign of Cancer. And I liken it to when we get home and we feel completely at home. It is actually a moment for real expansion and relaxation into our true identity. Like coming home at the end of the day after a long day at work, changing into your most comfortable clothes, taking up as much space as you need to feel completely comfortable and confident and free in your home. This new moon invites us to do the same. It is so beautiful that this new moon is really marking new vibes itself, but it is also helped that this new moon in Cancer, we also have a shift in the lunar nodes happening at the same time. And when these lunar nodes shift, it actually sets off a new 18-month cycle. So firstly, let's do a super quick crash course on what the lunar nodes are, what it means, without getting too deep into the astrology or the science behind it. So basically, lunar nodes are in the sky when the sun and the moon cross paths. So they're invisible celestial points that change signs every 18 months. The north node of a lunar node represents our destiny, the point that we're moving towards. It signifies what it is that we want to amplify and have more of in our lives. And the south node energy represents what it is we are leaving behind. Regardless of your own personal astrology, we are all affected as a collective by the lunar nodes and the signs that they are transiting through during their 18-month period. So for the last 18 months, the north node has been in the side of Taurus, and this has allowed us to get really practical and really grounded. This earth sign has probably seen many of us being able to turn some of our dreams into a reality by doing the actual hard human work involved. The south node, however, has been in Scorpio, deep, dark, mysterious Scorpio. And so this has had us really letting go and shaking off a lot of heavy emotions. The last 18 months would have possibly seen many of us purging emotional cycles and trauma and energetic patterns that have kind of kept us stuck or held back. It actually has felt to me like the ringing out we all needed post-COVID and the upheaval and the trauma that brought into our lives individually, but also as a collective. So at the same time, this new moon in Cancer allows us to go deep within. The nodes, the lunar nodes, will shift signs, making this the start of that new cycle. So what's in store for the next 18 months? Well, the north node will be moving into the sign of Aries. So this is going to see us all increasing our independence and our self-reliance. It is going to give us the courage to really passionately and increased in our confidence to be who we truly are in this world, and actually seeing that as a gift and something that we're excited to share with others. The South Node will actually be moving into the sign of Libra. So it's going to really allow the space for us to leave behind codependency. It will allow us to stop needing and seeking the approval from others, and will allow us to stop second guessing ourselves. So you can see how these two energies are going to work so beautifully together, and it's going to be really nourishing to our own sense of self. So I couldn't think of a more perfect time for a new moon to occur in the sign of Cancer. So Cancer represents emotions. It represents safety and security. Think of that crab and its shell. Cancerians and that energy love that. And ultimately, Cancer energy, and especially because its ruling planet is the moon, is pure femininity, the energy of the divine mother. And in this energy, we all will be wanting to provide ourselves with love and nurturing. It is that this love and nurturing that is unconditional and never wavering. So I'm sure that you can begin to start to see a really clear theme here being gifted to us from the universe. Be aware though, just as a little side note, at this new moon in Cancer, some of us may be looking at, or some of our mother wounds may be bubbling to the surface. So Cancer moons, as I said, are always known to be quite emotional ones. So if you are experiencing this, I highly encourage you to do a lot of journaling and reach out for holding and support if that's what you feel that you need. Remember to come at any type of mother wound or childhood trauma or whatever it is with a lot of compassion. It's not about necessarily trying to understand and unpack it. It's just about allowing for it to be in our awareness so that we can focus on how we choose as now adults to move forward. That beautiful saying, it's not the wake that drives the boat forward. It's a wonderful time to sit in some intuitive mentoring, if that's what you need with this, allowing your inner child to possibly be held and seen and healed. It's also a wonderful time to reach out to Alana for some hypnotherapy work as well. So we're here for you with that. But ultimately, this new moon in Cancer, as well as the north and south lunar nodes shifting, I am claiming this as the era of self-love, and it begins now. Ultimately, self-love and self-acceptance is actually going to be a solid foundation upon which we can build a life for ourselves individually that is wonderful and nourishing and authentic. And if it's wonderful and nourishing and authentic, it is going to draw to us things that reflect and amplify and celebrate and support that. Whatever it is that we do for ourselves, we do for the rest of humanity. So this is a wonderful, wonderful time to be really allowing ourselves to be unapologetically who we are, to trust ourselves explicitly, because ultimately we hold ourselves in that divine mother energy always. It isn't something that we get from the outside. It is something that we hold within, and then that filters out. So that's where we're leaving behind that codependency in that south node with Libra. Pluto is also buzzing around this new moon. The planet of death and rebirth is here. Really, it is about an energetic transformation of the landscape in which we live our lives. Pluto is actually in retrograde at this time, so it's a wonderful time to consider how far we actually have come, and also to kind of renew and review the lessons that we have learnt along the way. Here, moon members or premium moon members, go to your journal prompts, because this is going to really help you reflect in the build up towards the new moon. So use the journal prompts provided for you there in order to help you dig deep and consider and reflect with this energy of Pluto behind you. Part of loving ourselves is seeing how clearly what we've done, how well we've done, and acknowledging where we may still need to focus some of our energy. But we have to really remind ourselves that parts of us in this energy will die, because Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, in order for transformation to occur. So part of us will die so that these new parts of us over the next 18 months will be able to be rebirthed. Now, this won't happen all at once at this new moon. That's not what it's about. It's just to be aware of this whole new cycle that this new moon is the beginning of. So if we're setting intentions at this new moon, and we absolutely should, we think of this over the next 18 months. So that's why this is such a beautiful and special new moon, is it's this huge, massive start. So some of us will have to die in order for the new to be reborn. For example, if we want confidence, then our self-doubt has to die. If we want, love for ourselves to emerge, self-love, then self-loathing has to die. If abandonment needs to be released for us to be fully committed to honoring ourselves and committing to ourselves, self-doubt will have to die in order to allow space for self-confidence to begin to blossom. So it's not necessarily a negative thing, it's actually a beautiful process of making room. And we will do that, especially over the next full moon as well, being in Leo. I'll get to that in a minute, how it's linked to this. And just after this new moon, it's really important to note that Venus will begin a retrograde just about 5 days later, 5-6 days. So again, a retrograde is just an opportunity for us to sit in the review, the rethinking, the readjusting, the reevaluating, allowing us to see how far we've come, and it kind of makes space for the new, to see anything that we need to heal and hold space for. So Venus, obviously being the planet that is heart-centered and in our love, it's a wonderful time to allow ourselves to heal our heart wounds that are deeply held within our heart chakra or our heart center. Again, any help you need with that, reach out to us. This is what we're here for. So, as you can see, the flavor of self-love that we are stepping into is actually our ability to hold ourselves without needing anyone or anything else to tell us that it's going to be okay. That we can seek what it is that we need and the tools in our bag in order to feel that level of worthiness and confidence. It's the type of independence and self-reliance that will require great courage. And this Cancer moon, or the Cancer energy, actually isn't often known for courage. But however, if we think about Cancerian energy as divine feminine, the divine mother, then nothing is more courageous as that. And straight after this, we're heading into Leo season, which is all about that courageous heart. So know that you have it within you to build up that self-reliance and confidence and passion for yourself. And this will allow you to know that everything is going to be okay. Not because everything is going to be okay, but because you've got you. Your self-love will see you through absolutely anything. I recently was listening to an old interview from Brené Brown, and she was talking about belonging. And she said, worthiness and belonging are quite uniquely linked. And it was the discussion about how belonging actually means I belong to me. This is exactly what we're talking about here. That I don't belong to another person, but I belong to me. And if I belong to me, then I belong everywhere that I go. I don't need to prove my belonging. I don't need to prove that I belong to somebody else. I don't need to seek love and acceptance and approval from anybody else in my life. Nobody, because I belong to me. And the moment that you betray yourself, you betray your values, you betray your essence, you betray your worthiness, you betray what is important to you, that is when you don't belong, because now you have actually given away that power to somebody else in order to fit someone else's kind of story. So the next 18 months, this is what we're all going to be working on. So what is your relationship that you have with the love that you have for yourself? Self-love is our baseline. It is our foundation for not only our relationship with absolutely everybody else, but also our ability to go out into the world and to be who we truly are without self-abandoning. So when we think about it like that, it is vital that we are able to identify what self-love looks like and feels like to us. Self-love is the cornerstone of worthiness, and we are constantly aligning with manifesting. We are constantly aligning with anything and everything that is on our vibration of worthiness. High self-worth, we're vibrating with things that just amplify that. Low self-worth, same thing. This is the birthplace of our identity and our value. It breeds our confidence, our own personal reliability and responsibility to truly be ourselves. Our intuition, our warmth, and the sense of fulfillment that we get from being a living, breathing, vibrating being comes from our ability to give that to ourselves. As we sit under this new moon and set intentions, not just for this lunar cycle, but perhaps for the next 18 months, consider how it is that you can dedicate time and energy to the relationship you have with yourself. I know that we do this at every full moon and every new moon that we do sit under. But here is an opportunity to bring a new energetic lens and an intensity to the way in which you love yourself. Set intentions that call you to actively engage in the behaviors and habits that increase your courage and independence. Intentions that allow you to rely on yourself and live the truth of your identity with passion and confidence. Intentions that amplify your relationship with and understanding of your own innate, endless worthiness, because you are pure love. In the workbook for the premium members, have a look in there and see the invocation and the affirmations. Feel free to write those down and use them for the next 18 months. Add to them if you'd like. The tutorial in the premium portal is so exciting because I'm actually going to lead you through some tapping. Tapping is a huge, amazing tool for releasing trapped emotions, and we are going to do a tapping exercise for self-love. That is my gift to you in the premium membership portal for you to have there for your tool bag as well. Our meditation during our new moon ritual that is outlined in your workbook for premium members, but of course our basic moon members can listen to this meditation and use it. This is going to be a self-love meditation, a meditation where we can drop in and actually feel out the love that we have within and give it to ourselves, to fill ourselves up with that essence, that light, that energy that will allow us to improve and work on all the things that we've talked about in this in-depth guidance now and moving forward. Well, happy new moon. And as you celebrate this new moon, as you set intentions potentially for the next 18 months under this new moon, know that I'm sending you the essence of Namaste as you do so. In that, may the light in me see, acknowledge, respect, and honor the light in you. Happy new moon in Cancer, the start of our next 18 months together using the energy of the Luna to live our lives in our most radiant light. Again, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. I hope you enjoyed that little snippet, that little a bit of insight into what it's like to really harness the energy of the moon. Again, everything else can be found in our moon membership. You're more than welcome to come and join us there. The first 30 days are free. But as always, thank you so much for listening. Happy new moon, and we can't wait to catch you next time on the podcast. So, when you are ready, a time to settle in